record it, angle it where he sits, and then I can just go upstairs.
That's fine. That's 3 a.m. That's fine. Just all the people are gonna get hot.
Yeah. So I'll just set it up and then I'll wait out there.
Getting ready to start.
Ready?
Yep. Live, y'all tuning in for another episode of Black and Mickey Podcast. We got a Stockton legend in the building. I'm gonna let him introduce himself to y'all.
Now?
Yep, whenever you
Alright,
ready.
it's Jason Lee. Simple. And that's it.
Alright, you wanna tell the people a little bit about yourself before we get started?
Tell them about me. Okay, Stocktonian, born and raised on the south side. Wrote a book called God Must Have Forgotten About Me, which tells my whole Stockton story. Grew up on the south, ended up in foster care. My mother got on drugs. Came home from foster care at 15. Ended up getting shot on the south side. You know, went through a lot of different things that a lot of people nowadays been going through, challenges like everybody else. Brother ended up dying when I was 19, and I was just really at a crossroad with what I wanted to do in my life. Do I want to get deeper in the streets, or do I actually want to make something of myself? Decided to go to school, didn't finish school, but went on to have good jobs, went to work at STAG where I graduated, went to work at probation because I thought I would help kids by changing the institution, realized that playground prison pipeline was a real thing, so that didn't work. Went on to work at the union, did that for 11 years, and then started my own company, Hollywood Online.
Full dialogue, huh? All right, so now what brings us here today is I understand that you're running for city council, right?
Yeah.
All right, first off, why are you running and why District 6?
Well, I mean, I could have got a house anywhere in Stockton, but I didn't live everywhere in Stockton. I lived on the south side. My family's on the south side. All of my grandmother and her children migrated from Mississippi years ago. My entire family's there in the south. And that's where my heart has always been. I mean, that's where my friend Stephen Shelton lost his life. It's where I got shot. It's where I grew up, so that's what I know. Why did I run for Stockton City Council? I mean, when you have had as much success as I have in business, and you have your whole family, you have your friends still living in a community that's still on the decline, that's not on that doesn't seem to be progressing the way it could have. The city that I lived in back in the day was a part of where my dreams were born at the fairgrounds meeting Queen Latifah. I just feel like there's no opportunities like that for people here who have dreams like I did, you know what I mean? So when I came back and tried to help and launch programs, I met a lot of young people that wanted to figure out their pathways to pursue their dreams, and I have a lot of relationships and a lot of ideas. And so when I wanted to find people to run to help make the city better, nobody wanted to do it because everybody felt like that's the way it's going to be. It's always been that way. And I'm like, nah, I've traveled the world. It's better out there. Like, it can be better here too. And I just kind of felt like the purpose work in my life would be coming back home and helping. And I did that with my nonprofit, and now I'm doing it with the city council.
See, and that's dope, and that's one of the main reasons why I respect you, because somebody that made it out and been successful, usually people forget where they came from. You know, and they don't want to go back, definitely. And when it's in the turmoil as Stockton's been lately, and me myself, you know, I love the city deeply, so I always felt like
You've always loved the city, though.
Yeah,
You're
always.
one of the few people that have always, from our earlier days, I remember you, to like even now on Facebook when I see you commenting, like your love for the city is always at the forefront of everything you say and do. That is something that we should all have. We should all have that pride. You know, I mean, we're all in different places in our career or wherever, but no matter where my body is, my heart has always been here.
Yeah, but everybody don't do that, you know. Everybody don't. You know, they make it out and they don't look to come back. You know, that's something that always, you know, when I was inspiring to be a rapper, I always told myself, if I made it, I'm coming back home and I'm putting money, investing into my city because I love my city that much, you know. And so, and that's why I always salute you, because no matter what you want, wilding out, loving hip hop, you was always saying Stockton. I'm from 209 Stockton. And so that's real dope. You know, definitely us real Stocktonians that love the city, we really appreciate that.
Yeah.
So I want to let you know, very proud of you, and I commend you for doing that. You know, somebody like me.
But can I tell you why I did that? Because I've had the benefit, like you said, Love and Hip Hop. Okay, when I got on Love and Hip Hop, that was literally the only door that would open for me when I wanted to get in it seriously. Mona Scott said, "Oh, okay, I'll give you a chance." And when they did, they gave me 3 episodes. They were 3 big episodes, and it solidified my spot on the show. But I was never happy with how they were portraying me, because I feel like as people of color, they always want to show the worst of us. We're all that. We're good. We're bad. We mixed up. We all those things. So I felt like, so I left the show to go to Wild and Out with Nick. And when I got on there with Nick, I was able to really put on for my city. But it was like, I would talk about Stockton and Wild and Out, because not only did I want Stockton to be proud of me, I wanted celebrities to hear about Stockton. I wanted the entertainment industry, because there's a lot of talent in this community. And part of being able to get the exposure, if you have a brand or if you have talent, is for people to actually dial in. Like right now with politics, 2 weeks ago I had dinner with Rihanna, and the first thing she said is, "What's up in Stockton?" Rihanna probably ain't never rode around talking about what's up in Stockton. Floyd coming, people are actually looking at what we're doing here, and there's talent here. So it's also, put more eyeballs on our city in a positive way, because we hear all the negatives, but there's a lot of good in the city too.
And that's like with me too. The other day, I was at home and my grandma in there watching Price is Right. Yeah, Price is Right. And all I hear is, they say, "Where you from?" She say, "Stockton, California." I jumped up and ran in the living room just to see who it was, just because I heard Stockton.
Yeah.
And I love when Stockton is on the map, and that's like, I'm real proud of that. And to another thing, you represent Stockton so much, it amazes me when people say, "Oh, I didn't know Jason was from Stockton." And they follow you. You don't follow him enough then, because he always says Stockton. He always put on where he's from. So, hearing people say that, I didn't even know he was from Stockton. You didn't know that? He says it all the time. I mean, they probably, didn't have the luxury of growing up and seeing you around like, I did growing up out here in Stockton. But even just seeing you say it often. I've heard you several times on everything you've been on mention you from Stockton. And so that just amazes me that some people didn't know you was from Stockton. Right. I got a question too for you. I do recall you mentioning that you've never been a politician. And with that being said, why do you feel like you're the right person for this position versus someone who's been in the field for several years?
I mean, first of all, you talk about Wild and Out, Love and Hip Hop, Hollywood Unlocked, Jason Lee shows that's all a product. The business behind all the entertainment product is tech. HollywoodUnlocked.com is a tech-based business. So I grew that business from Instagram and $100, and I talk about this all the time, into a $50 million company. So the business, the architect of building the business, it's not just some kid I'm on TV telling jokes or on a talk show giving my opinion. It's actually a skillfully designed business that I decided to get into when I saw the boom and rise of social media and tech, because I know people who've made $500 million or have $1 billion worth businesses. That's the type of exit strategy I want to have for my business. When I retire in 5 to 7 years from my company, I want to be able to sell my business for, $750 million or $1 billion. So people look at the entertainment product and they say, "Oh, he's just a radio guy." No, I'm a businessman. But behind that, when you strip the veil of everything I've done, when I led the union, I was the staff director, the only black staff director in SEIU for the state of California, representing healthcare workers, negotiating labor agreements for radiology technologists, for lab assistants, for housekeepers, all the way through pharmacy technicians. So to be able to negotiate on a master agreement with Kaiser Permanente for healthcare workers in 2 different regions and develop a statewide bargaining table to be able to lead healthcare workers through requires a certain skill. When I worked at probation, I went from being on probation as a kid to working at probation. So understanding that playground to prison pipeline where most people of color will settle for probation, not knowing that's the hook, to hook them into their pathway to prison, knowing that prison is an extension of Jim Crow and slavery when you have slave catchers in slavery. So understanding institutional racism that's there, taking you all the way back now to the South Side. I grew up in the South Side, so I know the strategic oppression of the community. We have more liquor stores, more smoke shops, no healthy grocery store, no clinic, no hospital. When you get sick, your grandma say lay down instead of let's go to the clinic, because grandma don't drive and there's nowhere to go unless you go to the north side. The greatest part about why I feel I'm qualified is I'm a product of the potential of growing up in poverty, but also all these different things that could have been the reason why I fell off, why I stayed the course, right? If you look at the people who are career politicians, what are they doing? getting Measure A tax, $360 million from the taxpayers, saying they're gonna put 100-some police officers on the street, and you still can't get nobody come to your house to call the police. When you look at homelessness, the numbers doubled in the county in the last 2 years. So now you have over 4,000 people on the streets with only a little over 1,500 beds. So you have 3,000 people that can't find a place to sleep. So where are they sleeping? In your front yard, in the park, right over here in front of City Hall. So you have a City Hall that is so out of control that can't fix these issues that are making it a place where people don't want to come and invest. Like, who's going to come and invest in a city where you might get shot or robbed, you can't find nowhere decent to sleep, there's no real sophisticated public transportation, and then on top of that, you got homeless everywhere? Nobody. So you have all these jewels of talent, your show, artists, people who want to be whatever they want to be in a city where nobody will come and shine a light on it because these career politicians have allowed there to be a cloud. So why did I decide to run it? Why did I think I better? Because I ain't one of them. Just like Kendrick said, they not like us. I keep saying that at my thing. They not like us. I'm not like them. I make $10 million a year. I'm already famous. I already got the clout. I can pick up the phone and call the vice president. I don't need to use the people of Stockton as a stepping stool to get all those things I already got. These people do. And look, I'm not going to knock them because people in this community have made a career out of a career off the backs of people in South Stockton. I just said enough is enough. Like I'm tired of coming home and watching my niece and nephews not have nowhere to go. We used to have Naughty Nicks, Hammer Skate, Boys and Girls Club. We used to have the movie theaters, bowling alleys. All that shit is gone now.
Different swimming pools.
But how is it all gone? How is it all gone in a city that now grew a budget from $300 million to $1 billion a year? How? They got pickleball on the north side. They got all this amazing stuff on the north side. I went to Market Tavern for dinner last night. What restaurant do I want to go to? If you live in South Stockton, what restaurant do you go to? Nana's? That's it? That's not acceptable. Mm-hmm. So part of me being back, win or lose, and I think we're going to win, but win or lose, I turn people's lights on now. My life won't change if I lose. The city, my district will lose if I lose. Because I've already done everything I need to do to make sure I'm set up to be good for the rest of my life. I want to be able to come back now full time here and see my city turn the page and become a different thing. Where you have concerts on a regular basis, where, I put a group together that I want to buy the arena. Taxpayers spent $68 million to build it. Taxpayers pay $5 million a year now to keep it clean, to keep it up, but it's underutilized.
Nothing going on.
So why not sell it, make $100 million, and then take the $5 million that taxpayers are paying off the backs of taxpayers every year and have it busy, so that way we can have a thriving downtown, go to dinner after, go to a bar, listen to some live music, have a place where artists can pull up and perform. But how are you going to do that if you don't have business people on the council that actually know people that can do those things?
Mm-hmm. Right, makes sense to me. So I'm going to get into the next question. I know you got a lot going on for yourself. You got the Hollywood Unlocked, the healthcare, the I'm Ready program. How do you think you're going to be able to balance all that and being a councilman?
Sure. I mean, I have a great team. I have 25 employees that run the healthcare business, so that's in Florida. I don't have to go there. I haven't been to Florida in months, so I don't, I have a team that manages that. Hollywood Unlocked, I have staff all over the country, and I have a team that manages all of them. I have a great assistant, and I have an amazing team that does the work. I mean, my job physically requires me to be in my studio 2 days a week. My studio is in LA, so that's a 45-minute flight. It'd just be like working in San Francisco and driving an hour and a half every day. I don't have to fly an hour, I drive an hour and a half every day. I have to fly 45 minutes to work. But people have made a thing out of that. Oh, well, he works in LA. Okay, well, you work in San Francisco, I work in LA 2 days a week. I work here, this is my office. I wanted to do the interview here because people say I don't have an office here. I have an office. I think the challenge that people are having is that they can't find a thing to make me not prepared to do the job that I know that I've been called to do. And I think the numbers for the primary show that we beat everybody we beat the incumbent by 12%, and then, we beat everybody else, and now it's just her and I. And right now what the voters have to focus on is, did she do enough to earn 4 more years? Like, is there anything in Southside that she can point to, that you can point to, where you can say, you know what? She built that clinic? No. She built that grocery store? No. She actually fixed McKinney Park? No. She is safer. Well, a 20-year-old just got murdered yesterday on Charter Way. She has nothing to point to say that she did something significant enough to earn the votes. Well, what is he gonna do? Christmas, we had 3,000 kids and their families at the school in Sierra Vista getting free toys, haircuts, and food. Gospel Rescue Mission, where the city voted to not support them, we were able to get the county to put bridge funding to stop 70 beds from closing. Sierra Vista, when they told the kids that they couldn't swim in the pool because they lived in the old Vista, we met with Housing Authority, made it one Vista, and then did a pool party for all the kids to swim. And the list goes on and on and on for what we've been able to do, because we're showing people that everything is possible if you just want to work hard enough. Now, if people say, you know, we're happy with the way things are and we don't want to change, and they don't vote me in, I will gladly support whatever decision the voters made, because this is not a episode of Love and Hip Hop or Wildin' Out where I get to walk off stage after telling a joke. This is literally a position where I need to figure out how do we get the $140 million the city forgot to get from the state, so that way we can actually build prevailing wage jobs here, so people can actually build stuff in the city. Those are more complicated things that require somebody that knows how to do business, and I've demonstrated that I know how to do business.
Oh, okay, great. I don't know if you read my mind or you're checking out my notes, but I was just getting to that as my next question. What are some of the things that you have already been doing in the community that supports everything you say you want to do and gonna do? Because you know action does speak louder than words.
Well, action is the only thing that should be the word, right? Because I can tell you I'm gonna do this or that and not do it. When I went down to talk to them about investing in young people, right? They said, well, you friends with Rihanna and Floyd Mayweather, why don't you ask them to help you? And I actually, being petty like I am, I did it.
You on my notes. See, I'm getting there. Hold on.
No, I'm just telling my story, right? You said go ask Rihanna and Floyd Mayweather to help me. Okay, Rihanna helped me raise $500,000, so we launched leadership workshops here, teaching over 300 kids per session how to stand up in their school for things that matter to them, how to organize around issues, how to get actively involved. We did voter registration campaigns to get younger people, more progressive people actively involved in voting. They told me to get Floyd Mayweather. I brought Floyd Mayweather here. He came down and he said, I'm going to be back and invest in stock and whatever Jason did, I got him. And so I'm already demonstrating what can be done by doing the work. And you know, the Sierra Vista thing, you know, a politician would have been like, I ain't going to fix that right now, because if I don't fix it, I can use that to keep the community agitated to vote. But as somebody who grew up in the Vista, it's like, wait a minute, how you going to tell this kid right here he can't swim with his friend because they live in a different house? And so we got to work and we did it right away. And people are watching. The governor, he approved $6.3 billion in health in Prop 1 funding. I brought the guy here, Mark, from the state, who's managing that whole $6 billion fund before anybody even knew, the day before the governor announced it. I brought him here. I brought all the people from the county, the school, and the city together to say, hey, y'all better get this money. He's going to tell you how to apply before the whole state finds out. That's why the county's probably going to get $74 million because of that meeting that I set up. So we're already doing the work. And there's people that won't acknowledge it, but that's okay. The people that are involved, they see it.
See, yeah, and I had that situation. I had it in my notes about what happened with the councilman, because I was actually there when he did say that, and I thought that was some of the most foolish thing to say. Like, here you are trying to get money from the city to help the city, but he wants you to go get it from people that ain't even from the city. Like, that's what the money for the city is for, to help the city. So why should Rihanna or Mayweather, even though I know you already had them in the plans to help anyway, but for a council person to say that and refuse to give you money that's for the city, to help the city, he'd rather you go outside and get it from the outside sources because they're your friend. I thought that was some of the most foolish things that he could have said.
I'll go a step further. I didn't ask them to give me money. I said, match my million with your million.
Yeah.
I'll give you $1 million. You give $1 million. Together we have a partnership. Because what I learned 12 years ago when I tried to do this with Michael Tubbs, when I tried to do this with the mayor at the time, was that this city is not investing in black and brown people. This city invests in its operation that keeps the folks strategically oppressed. There are black people, black leaders in this community that profit, but those people profit because they got dealings with the city where they get funded for things in order to keep the other black people at bay. The saddest part about anything is realizing that Django, the movie, was an actual real lived experience where house niggas kept slaves enslaved for the master to control the plantation. And when you wake up and you go, wait a minute, we actually have house niggas in this community doing it.
We definitely do.
Now, they don't want to talk about it. God forbid I say their name, so I'm not going to say their name. But here's what I will say. The biggest thing about freeing slaves was giving them books so they could become educated. I've given everybody their books. I'm telling them, wait a minute, you do see that 500 people going and advocating for a partnership to enrich the lives of black and brown kids was met with heavy opposition. But 30 people showing up for pickleball in Ruby Park get $500,000. Why? Because the power structure in the city does not land in the communities that look like us. That's why the potholes, the stray dogs, the bullets flying in our community, the lack of resources, the lack of healthy food options, that is strategically placed in a way that keeps our people constantly believing that that's all we're owed. I have traveled to Dubai, I've been to London, I've been to Paris, I've been to Colombia, I've been all over the world where I'm like, yo, I've seen poverty, I've seen real poor, but I've also seen real luxury and opulence, and I'm like, yo, we know that we believe we deserve more, but why are we not mad that we're not getting more? And me coming back and running and shaking shit up, because it's like, wait, he actually wanted them. He's not gonna, he gonna play the game in the sense of sit down, break bread, find common ground, but he's absolutely gonna be an activist and an advocate for what's right. And he's smart enough to talk like us, he's resourceful, he gonna bring in the big dogs when he needs to. And so they're doing everything they can to stop me, but I have faith in Stockton, and I know one thing for sure, Stockton is gonna raise up and do what's right.
Yeah, and you use the term house niggas. I usually call them puppets. You know, and sometimes they just put a little color on there that's gonna listen to us.
Yeah.
And that's probably why they're afraid of you, because they know you're not one of them. You're not one of them puppets, one of them house niggas. You're gonna speak up. You know, you're gonna do something about it. You're gonna help change. You ain't just gonna go, oh, well, you need to do this, and you ain't gonna go for that. So that's another reason why I think that we need you in one of those seats, you know. And so I'm really rooting for you. I know what election is, 9 days away?
8 days. Tomorrow will be 1 week.
Tomorrow, a week away. All right, so when you are elected to city council, what will be your priorities on changes to South Stockton?
Yeah. Well, the first thing is I already brought Tiffany Haddish here, who said that she committed to building a healthy grocery store. I'm on the board for her nonprofit called Diaspora Groceries, which is strategically about building healthy grocery stores in communities that are considered food deserts. The second thing is I have already, like I said, put a group together to buy that arena. It's not in South Stockton, but the money would come into the city for us to be able to spread that money around and what we can do to revitalize the community. But specifically in South Stockton, I mean, Western Ranch has been promised for 20 years that they would have shopping amenities, so there's nothing there. I know the Kmart that's been for years out there. Recently, they got through their legal situation where they can do something there. I don't know what their plans are, but I would like to meet with them to see how do you plan to build amenities here. I've been meeting with the county about seeing how we can build clinic services. I definitely am going to see about reducing the amount of smoke shops and liquor stores. I don't think you need to have that many in one community because, you know, if you go to Brookside, you don't see that, you know. Stockton right now has 2,500, it has one smoke shop per 2,500 residents. So if you do the math, out of 350,000 people or 335,000 residents, there's one smoke shop per 2,500 people. That is insane, and I get it, because I love to smoke hookah, but look at the kids and how they have access to vaping. Edison High School, right across the street, liquor store, and smoke shop. You know, that's problematic. The other thing is sitting down with, like, our people, because when we were growing up, we knew Nightingale and Crow Valley and Southside, and everybody had their community, and everybody was from where they were from, but we weren't flying in and out of each other's neighborhoods, shooting and killing each other, and the music is driving a lot of that right now among kids. So I've talked to Haley Baby, I've talked to J-Bo, I've talked to different people from different hoods to say, look, I'm running on a program and a plan to help reduce crime and violence, right? How do we work together to find the solution to that? Understanding that when you kill somebody's family member, that's a real thing. And people live with that. I felt it when my brother died. But we have to get to a point where people make this a safer community for people to invest in. I've committed to invest my annual salary into building a Southside Athletic Commission so we can restore Southern Little League, because I think that having sports opportunities for younger people is important. And then my friend is on FIFA. We talked about investing in the soccer program. Babyface has agreed to do a program where we can bring instruments to schools. So there's all these different people who want to provide more resources to South Stockton, and I know a lot of people outside of the South are like, what about the North? I'm going to do what I need to do as a city councilor for the city, but my focus is what I invest in South Stockton, because that's my district.
All right. What I want to get to right now is I did a poll on Facebook, and because I wanted to hear from the community and what the community wanted me to ask you. So I'm gonna go ahead and ask you a few of these questions. Cause I got quite a bit of people that want to know your thoughts on different things and what are you planning on. All right, let me go right here. All right, the first one, we're gonna go with Callie Linus. She says, is he going to help all of Stockton or just the south side?
Well, as a city council member, there's 6 council members and the mayor, and all of them vote to support all the issues related to the entire city, right? But the work that I'm going to be doing to actually rebuild and revitalize the district is going to be in my district, District 6. So each area has, that map right there, each area has a person that's responsible for the issues within that district. Then you make citywide decisions as a city council. Southern Little League, that's what I'm going to be investing in, South Side. Healthy grocery store, South Side. Reducing smoke shops and liquor stores, South Side. Of course, I do think that there could be citywide ordinances to help make the reduction of that, but what I'm focused on is my district.
Okay. But
I'm still going to represent Stockton.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and the overall goal is to help Stockton as a whole.
Of course.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, we're gonna get on to Young Rick's question. He said, "What initiatives do you think are necessary to reduce crime in communities like Stockton, and how can we create more positive activities for kids to engage in?"
Yeah, well, the positive activities for kids, the first part of that is you have to develop private partnerships. We used to have Boys and Girls Club. We lost a lot of the teen centers. We lost the parks, the pools to the homeless in the city. It's just allowed it to run itself in the ground. I think the first thing is I met this guy who's the CEO of Boys and Girls Club at the White House, and he was saying, he's a black man, and he was saying that once you're elected, let's figure out a private partnership. Let's figure out how we can explore bringing Boys and Girls Club back to your city. So that's one. The second part is to make Stockton a place where people want to invest and grow business. You got to look at how are you going to make the city safer? So the city was promised 100 additional officers through Measure A. That didn't happen. So one of my plans that I want to introduce is the idea of a police commission where we get back to community policing, where we can hold the police accountable, but also know the police in our community. Back in Southside, we had Sandoval, we had Belandi, we had the police that we knew. You don't know the police no more. These police that live here.
Because they ain't from out here.
They're not from here. So if I'm a police officer that has to go into South Stockton, I just fly in on my shift, I'm looking at people as people. I'm not looking at them as people I know. Whereas back in the day, our officers knew us and we knew them. And so part of wanting to create a police commission where we have members from the community that we appoint from each of our districts who sit on an advisory commission, police commission, that have oversight of the police department and can do investigations independent from anybody else, and then submit recommendations to the city council. That enforces community policing. That enforces the expectation that there's a partnership with the community when you have a police commission made up of people from the community. And also making sure that we understand the budget and the allocations for the police department and public safety is something that's a priority, because right now the police just posted on Facebook that they have on any shift 11 police for the entire city.
There ain't enough police at all.
11. So if you have a shooting in Kentfield, and then you have a shooting on 8th and Airport, the rest of the city has nobody. And so when people are calling 911 or calling the police or trying to get help, and they have 1,300 calls in a day for 11 officers in each shift to handle, you're not getting responded to. So that is an extremely unsafe city. So we have to figure that out. The other thing too is working with the community. You have people like Nuri Muhammad at Advanced Peace who are doing great work. R.C. Thompson from Reinvent South Stockton doing great work. Both support me. We got to invest in our black and brown nonprofits who are out there doing the work so that we can build bridges with the community.
Yeah, and that's what somebody asked. That's what they questioned too. They recently seen an article saying the police department is short 100 officers. Can he possibly give some suggestions or incentives to get that number lowered?
Well, it's not. Here's the incentive. vote for the people who are going to control how you spend the money. Right now, they just gave the city manager a raise to $500,000. What job do people live in or work in where your boss gets a raise when the company's doing bad? It fundamentally don't make sense. I have employees all over the place. My employees don't get raises, don't get promotions when they're not doing good. I actually replace them with better people. The city right now gave a raise to the guy who's over police, homelessness, all economic development. He's over all of that. So how did he get a raise of $500,000 taxpayer money when he hasn't proven himself? You know, again, people are afraid to have the conversation because, don't fire the city manager. Well, it's not about firing the city manager. It's about holding the city staff accountable to deliver on what you're telling the people. So I'm out here telling people I'm going to help address the crime issue, but then I'm not going to hold the people accountable to get it done? No. The reason why they're fighting me and don't want me in is because they know they're going to be held accountable.
Yeah, I understand that, yeah. And too, that was another thing too I wanted to mention to you. When we was doing the protest, I went down the line, all the police, asked them, were they from Stockton? And I believe it was one out of all 30, 40 officers there was on the protest, only one was from Stockton. And I said, that's part of the problem, you know, when Stockton already got this bad image, you know, it's the worst place to live, it's deadly out there. So if you're not from here and that's all you've been hearing, you quick to grab your gun, you quick to shoot, you know, so I think to help change a lot of that, we need officers that's actually from the city. Maybe that, like you said, we knew the officers back in the day. Like these officers, we don't know who they are, they don't know us, so, you know, had it be somebody, if you get pulled over, maybe you wouldn't be so scared if it was somebody you seen growing up, or you know, that's Wooty Whoop, or that's Jason's cousin. You know, I know him, he cool. You know, so maybe that would help out. But also, we as colored people, we also got, because I heard a lot of, ain't no black people, ain't no black officers. But we as colored people, are we actually applying to be officers?
Right.
I know I wasn't trying to be no police, because I come from a neighborhood, a hood, which that's frowned upon. So we gotta, I believe, one thing to help that, to get more black officers, there should be more incentives for black people coming into the police. You know, I think that would help, or even incentives for people from Stockton applying. Maybe it should be, you know, a little more, something there to encourage people, motivate them to want to be a police officer.
I mean, listen, right now, the city has a black mayor, a black city manager, and a black police chief. So like, on the top structure, you do have black, which is great, because it's the first time in history. But we do need people that look like us. We also have to acknowledge, like, another real factor is when you see people like George Floyd and other people murdered by police, it does build a stigma for people to say, I ain't gonna be like the police. Well, everybody's not like that. Everybody's not like the police that killed George Floyd, and everybody is not like, you know, whatever they depict a criminal to be, because, you know, we're all just people in a very flawed system, in a very flawed city right now. I think that recruiting people who look like us, that come from Stockton, making it a job where people can have pride in, and again, a stronger partnership with the neighborhood, because guess what? We know what's going on before they do. And so if we are invested in making sure we're protecting our own community, then they won't have that job to do for us. And then the other thing is, I met the DA here, Ron Freitas. There's no partnership right now between the city council member in that district and him to say, how do we make our community safer, but also create diversion programs where people who may get hooked into probation can get out of the system? Because the worst thing that you can do is get caught up on probation, then get caught up in the system, then you're stuck, and then now you end up on your career to prison. And he's committed to partnering and figuring that out once elected.
Okay, great. I want to touch on get your thoughts and your suggestions on all the homelessness going on. What do you think that can be done to help fix that? I know it's a lot of empty buildings and old hotels ran down. I always thought, man, why we can't open them up, at least in the wintertime, to get them off the streets, you know, in the cold weather like that. So what would be some of your suggestions and ideals that you would have to help with what's going on with over there by St. Mary's and you know, the homeless encampments?
Well, first, the city invested millions of dollars in St. Mary's Navigation Center didn't open. So they've had millions now for years, and they keep submitting more millions of dollars over there. The city also invested $100 million in a new city hall instead of actually taking these abandoned buildings that the city may own or other people may own and converting those into housing units. So they're showing you where their priorities are. They're funding these developments that are being worked on by their friends. So they're circulating the money with their people. The fact of the matter is that homelessness has been more of a talking point than a real action, because the city and the person I'm running against voted against giving money to the Gospel Rescue Mission to save 70 beds from putting 70 homeless men on the street in the midst of a conversation about how this is crisis. So the first thing is, I think there's a few things. I said we need to look at rent stabilization and rent control. Drove the Renter Association crazy. They put tons of money behind my opponent, because rent stabilization means when the market jobs aren't there and the market rate housing is out of control, we can control that to where you don't get priced out of your house. A lot of people right now that are in my district that are struggling because they just can't afford to keep up, right? I met somebody who was homeless. She had a great job, but she just couldn't afford to pay all her bills. PG&E's out of control, and now she's on the street. First thing you have to do is figure out rent forgiveness program. So develop a fund with the county where people are on the verge of being evicted, if they are, or they have an eviction notice, but you can save them from being evicted. They can apply for a grant to stop them from going to the street. The second part is, I think the city needs to develop safe camping sites where you can have designated areas, not just on the south side, but in other districts where people are, if they're homeless or unhoused, if they can't find housing, they can go and stay there. It's safe. They can have access to services and support. I think we need to develop programs where people have family members out of state and they want to travel to them. You buy them a ticket one way to go. And then I think that there should be ordinances where they already have an ordinance where you can't sleep in the park. They need to enforce the law, take the parks back, give them to their families. But you know, the other part is, if there are a bunch of abandoned buildings, why is there no vacancy tax? Where people's, okay, you swallow this vacant building, you got to pay $25,000 in tax to the city every year that it's vacant. Most people that have commercial businesses don't want to give away that type of money. So they'll do something with it, or donate it to the city, or sell it. I think that there should be consequences for people who buy buildings and just sit on them for whatever reason. And the city has a lot of vacant property that they should be using for housing. There's no reason why there's 4,500 people on the streets, 1,500 beds, and 3,000 people who are still scattered throughout the city. The city has $1 billion budget. So it's not like they're broke. It's not like when they bought this arena and brought Neil Diamond and didn't know what to do with it.
Gave him $1 million.
The city did that. That's what I'm saying. So, you know, there are solutions, but again, homelessness is also $1 billion business. As long as there's business, as long as there's people on the streets, we're gonna always need to build, which means more jobs, construction jobs for our friends. We're always gonna need Medi-Cal, so that's billable to the state. We're gonna always need funding from the state. It's a business. So if you fix the business, where all the billions go? It all go away? They're not gonna fix that. But you can actually put a dent in it and provide some structure around it, so that way people have the resources, and you can give homeowners, business owners, and kids their community back, and still have support. And one thing I will say is, I have a brother right now who's homeless. He chooses to be homeless. I've helped him. I helped him get SSI. I helped him get a place. Helped him get medical benefits. He just wants to live on the street. There are some people that do not want to go nowhere. Well, that don't mean you get to sleep on somebody's sidewalk. So the city has to provide that safe camping place where they can be somewhere safe and not, be all throughout the city like they are now.
Yeah, because it ain't the same. Homelessness ain't the same as it was back in the day. Back in the day, you probably was on drugs or something. Nowadays, it's just most of the people that's homeless didn't fell on hard times.
Yeah.
You know, with this rent increase and all that and everything that's going on. So seeing that, there really definitely need to be some programs, you know, definitely to help those people out that ain't out there on drugs, that just, you know, you got kids out there now. You never used to see kids, homeless families, you know. So it's like crazy going over there and seeing that. And
well, opioid, that was a real crisis, and this city failed to apply for a $12 million grant from the state to help with the opioid response here. You know, again, we've discovered $160 million right now at the state that they didn't even apply for. How do you just leave free money on the table? That's like me coming in here right now, put $120 million on the table and saying, ask me what you need, and I'm gonna give it to you for free. Mm-hmm. How do you leave money on the table? I, as an entrepreneur, never leave money on the table. I don't care if it's $5 or $500,000. I'm gonna always go get whatever's available to me. This city has failed to to apply for it. And I don't know if it's because they don't have the relationships or the resource, but if you have the political will and the ambition to do good, you do whatever it takes to get whatever you need.
Okay, yep. I understand that too. I wanted to, before I finish with you on this, I wanted to see was there any truth to this or not.
Sure.
But back when you had your book release out here in Stockton at Delta College, I got like 3 calls from people saying, Mac, Jason shouted you out and said you should run for mayor. Is there any truth to that? And if so, why you could
I mean, in many ways, you're the hood mayor. You've always looked out for your people. You've always been the voice of wanting to lift people up. But I'm gonna shout you out on this. When that young girl died at Stag, Lala,
my niece, yeah.
and you were very instrumental in making sure that I had a personal relationship with her dad, making sure that his voice and her voice was being heard. You ain't had to do that, but you've always wanted to make sure other people have an opportunity or other people are heard or acknowledged. And so I just wanted to acknowledge you because I'm like, there are people that we may not talk every day, we may not see each other all the time, but we're all looking from a distance, you know what I mean? Like Facebook makes us feel like we're in each other's living room, And that's why even talking to you right now, it's like we just see each other the other day. Because it's, we are connected. We're Stocktonians, we have pride in our community, and you've been doing the work. And I think, you have been showing the example to everybody that, the evolution of one's career or passion doesn't have to stop with one thing. It can be multiple things. I think this is an outlet reaching people. I think what you do, Nikki, what she's doing with her platform and others, I just think, it's just really important that we continue to evolve, but also just keep our community at the forefront of our minds. Now look, there's a lot of people out there that are saying, I have a lot of support. I had to Zumba today with the ladies in Western Ranch. I just got a video from all the Sikhs with my signs and all that. There's a lot of people supporting me. And there's some people who are like, he's not my cup of tea. That's okay. Because my goal right now is not to win everybody. My goal is to win. And then when I get in, build a program for everybody. There's still gonna be some people that go, I don't wanna do that. If you build it, they will come. Eventually they will come because I'm gonna do the work of all the people in District 6. And at least for the next 48 years, show people like this is what leadership looks like. You can be a politician. You can be a public servant without being a politician. You can actually connect with the people. I'm not going to not wear my clothes. I'm not going to not talk how I talk. I pulled up on some middle schoolers the other day and I was talking to them and they were like, I thought they were going to ask me stuff about like Pokemon or dumb stuff. And this kid said, what's the hardest obstacle that you've ever been faced with? And I said, surviving Stockton. Surviving the city was hard, but I did it. And I feel like if we get it right on November and we put the right people in office, Stockton can finally turn the page.
Yeah, and it's crazy too. And I just wanted to bring that up because I'm actually playing the mayor of Stockton in this movie.
Are you?
In this movie series called Shadow in the Alley by Derek Miller. He just dropped the first episode. I ain't in there. I just shot my scene, but he got me playing the mayor of Stockton. So I wanted to throw that in there. But so before we close off, also, you got a lot of pressure, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of critics.
Really?
When you win this thing, it's gonna be a lot of people praying on your downfall, praying for you to fail.
Yeah. Well, they already are though.
Yeah, and I know you know that.
Yeah,
so how do you feel like you're gonna be able to overcome that? Are you gonna win them over? Are you gonna get in there and do what you need to do and what you said you were gonna do? Or win them over, or let them be like, oh man, see, I told y'all.
I am focused solely on the people who want to win in the city, who want to see the district change. That energy, I like to tap into that and multiply that. I don't focus on negativity. Even in my personal life, my friends will tell you I have a very small friend circle. I don't allow any negativity at all. Once you get to arguing or popping off or this, that, you out. Because that shit is it's contagious, right? Being a hater, hating on people is a disease that I do not participate in. I am immune from it. I took my vaccination from being a hater years ago. I don't do that. I will be available to everybody. I'll be interested in partnering or working with people. But I do, when I tell you I believe in what I believe in, and I believe in the heart of these people that I've been meeting with and talking to, that there are a lot of good people in this city that want to see a change, and they feel finally they have somebody who isn't using this as a political stepping stool. I don't want to be the senator, the assemblyman, the congressman, the governor. I don't even want to be the mayor. I just want to be District 6, city council, bring my resources to my city. If in 4 years people aren't happy, I'll gladly not rerun. I ain't gonna rerun because I want to be the city councilor. If I believe we've done a great job, if I believe we have the support and the desire of the district to see me do 4 more years, then I'll decide to do another 4 years. But if the city says, not the city, but if my district says, I'm not happy with you, you didn't do what was best for me, and you made all these promises and didn't do it, I ain't gonna rerun.
Okay, well, am I right on this? Because the way I understand it, don't you have to have like everything to get approved, all your plans and things? Don't you have to have like the majority vote to get approved? And
yeah, so right now that's a good question, because most people don't know. In the city of Stockton, you have to have 4 votes to get things done. That's why I'm endorsing Christina Fugazi. That's why I've endorsed Mario Enriquez. That's why I'm focused on making sure that I continue to put their name out there too, because you do have to have the 4 votes. If I go to the state and I get a $100 million grant for the city, is the city going to vote to not accept it? Of course they're going to accept it. It's free money. How we work on the money and all that, that's why I had Ben Crump, who's he's the most visible civil rights attorney, endorsing me. But we're focused on like human and civil rights needs of the community and how we're going to advocate for that. We're looking at, Mark from the state on this Prop 1 money, so there's that billions of dollars. We've applied for a significant amount of money for my nonprofit to build a youth center here, and so we're going through the final stages of that process. And then we have private partnerships. We're going to bring opportunity. If Floyd Mayweather wants to build a skating rink and I want to put it in the South Side, do I have to go get 4 votes to do that as a businessman? No. What I have to be able to do with the city is to be able to say, hey, why are there no lights on B Street? Why are kids getting run over in Western Ranch? Why are there no roundabouts? Or, why is it that there's all this open land that we're not developing now that the big box ban is taking? Why are we not seeking, opportunities for people to come build strip malls here? The city is not going to vote against what's in the best interest of the community. And I met with the developers. I met with everybody from Prince Groupie to Anthony Barquette to all the business folks here to say, hey, I'm not a threat to what you all are doing. There's just a process in how we get there. We got to make sure if you're going to build warehouses in South Stockton, you got to make sure that there's environmental practices, because all my family got asthma because you got all that smoke out there. There's air quality tests that show the air on the South Side, the life expectancy of someone that lives in the South Side is 10 years less than those on the North because of the warehouses. So why are we not looking at environmental protections? Those kind of things. So they just going to have somebody that's going to fight harder to get the job done. But I'm confident that regardless of whoever's elected, I'm going to be able to work with them so we can get the job done.
yeah. And I say the numbers too because I really want some more of us to be in those seats, like Tashante.
Yeah.
I was rooting for her to run for mayor or something. Sis, you need to do it.
I'm going to blame Tashante though, because I tried to recruit her to run for this, and she wouldn't do it.
Oh, so you said you had to do
I already tried.
And then even little bro Demore, I love what he's doing with the balloons over bullets.
Him and Brittany.
Yeah, him and Brittany. So we got the people out there that's been doing the work. So I just think if we can get, like everybody been telling me to run for the past 8 years for something, like go mayor, go for city council. And I just always felt like, man, I ain't ready. Like I'm still, there's still a little hood in me.
Yeah.
The way they dig up dirt and talk stuff.
Today the new one, they said they heard I used to smoke crack. Now, mind you, I've never smoked. I don't even smoke weed. I don't even drink. But for them to, but that's what they're doing now, right? Like they don't have anything they can find. They said I was a porn star. Never done porn in my life.
But what Charlamagne the guy say? People gonna go with the lives more entertaining than the truth.
Of course. But look at Trump and Kamala. I mean, it's entertaining, But this is why I say, to me, they can focus on me, I'm focused on the people. Like, I feel like if you focus on the people, you focus on their needs, you focus on the community, you're going to win. I'm not smoking crack. When I saw it, you got to laugh at it, though, because I've had these aunts that smoke crack. So you're telling me that my aunt's life didn't have any value because of her addiction? There's a lot of people in our families that are addicted to drugs, but what are we doing to make sure that there's resources to get them off, or housing to get them off the streets when they lose everything? My mother we lost our apartment on Park and Sutter when she got addicted to heroin back in the 80s, and that led me into foster care and children's home or whatever. So that means my life didn't have any value. So I think to shit on people because they have a struggle is one thing, but to just throw it on somebody who never had the struggle is crazy. But that's Stockton politics, and that's what we're gonna beat them at their own game.
And it's crazy that lies on you, because you know my aunt, she into it with the whole family. That's what she just called me, a crackhead. Said I was doing crack. I'm like, even my friends that be playing with their nose, they hide it from me because they know I'm against drugs. Yeah, I'm against drugs. You know,
And you will drink.
Oh yeah, I was pop that Hennessy.
Let me tell you, because of Mac-a-Lot, we will not have an open bar at the election night party.
That wasn't me. See, I thought that was toward me when I seen that. I seen your post like no more open bar.
No more open bar. That was specifically for you and your +1.
Yeah, my +1. And I'm gonna tell her. And I told her. I said he probably talking about you, bro. Yeah, but we had a good time. But yeah, I'm totally against all that. But I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Is there anything that you want to say, tell the people before you get out?
Yeah, this whole campaign, you know, regardless of what the results are, which I do believe we're going to win, you know, we've already won. I turned my city up. I put my city on the map even more than I have been on my shows. I got young people engaged and excited. I've been able to reconnect with my family in a real valuable way that shows how we put our city first. And to me, you know, we've already won. New people voting, you know, giving out 3,000 families toys for Christmas. You know, I don't have kids of my own, but for me, that felt good to be able to watch a mother who, you know, had never gave her son a haircut. She had always cut his hair, but like she was all crying and never gave her son a haircut. You know, that to me, I really won because I know how the world and how the universe works and how God works. When you put out good things come back. But when you see what they did in Jesus, you see that no matter when you do good, how evil comes and attacks it. That's why I don't go around saying, woe is me. It's like, okay, I've signed up for it. I can take it. I have 6 million followers. There's somebody talking about me right now. And whether it's true or not, they talk about me. I learned a long time ago to just, I can't let that rent space in my head when I got a task to do. I got to stay focused on it. That's why I've been able to be successful. And that's why I know once I win, I'll be successful here.
Okay, I appreciate all your time too. I'm glad you hit me up. Like I said, God works in mysterious ways. Like I said, I was supposed to be in Reno, and for some reason, God told me last night, don't go. Stay. Save your money anyway. You broke anyway, so save that. Save the little dollars you got. But I didn't go, and then I woke up to your message about you gonna have some time today, because I was a little brokenhearted because I had reached out to your PR.
I've heard that.
About getting on, and he said, we're going to respectfully decline. I'm like, let me hit Jason up directly again. Because, man, I said, I know Jason, and come on, give me a little time. And I want to get, plus, you know, I've been rooting for you this whole way, so I want to get the people of my platform to get some insight on you and what are your plans for the city. So.
And people listen to you. That's why I was going through my Facebook and I started messaging. I said, oh man, let me circle back and hit them. But here's the deal. I think that like people that look like us have to vote. Like we have to get this thing out of our mind that our votes don't matter. Some people are like, oh, you got it, so you don't even know. We need every single vote. And then once we get through the election, then, you know, I haven't really spoken on what I want to do entertainment-wise because I don't want people to think that this is an entertainment thing. You know, but I am Hollywood Unlocked. You see the wallpaper is a minor reflection of my world, and you know, I just did Nick Cannon's podcast where he said, "Hey, let's bring Ballin' Out live to Stockton." But I ain't even talking about those kind of things because I don't want to win for being a celebrity. I don't want to win for entertainment. I want that to be a cherry on top. Once I'm in it, we can turn the city up. You know, I did tell Lemuel, you know, maybe bring the Baddies Fest to Stockton, create a whole festival around, you know, whatever. But, you know, Lemuel and I keep talking about that. But, you know, I don't want to win for that. I want to win based on people believing that I am who I say I am. I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. And everybody that knows me like you knows, like Stockton been in my heart the whole time. It's just my body has been in my business. And they tried to shame you for building a successful company. You mean to tell me that somebody grew up poor, grew up in foster care, went on to build a $50 million business, and he's supposed to be ashamed of that? No, I'm proud of that. And that's going to be with me whether I win or lose, but I know we're going to win, and then we're going to get to work.
All right, I'm going to hold you to your word on that when you start getting that entertainment thing. You say you had a position for me.
I didn't say I had a position. I mean, there's going to be opportunity. We're going to create
opportunity. Well, hey, I got to receipts. I'm like you. I keep receipts too. That's one thing about me. And when I say that, I'll be thinking about you because you always come with the receipts.
Yeah, oh,
But yeah, I appreciate your time, brother.
of course.
Appreciate everything, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to the Black and Mickey's podcast with special guest, Councilman Jason Lee. Y'all make sure y'all share the live and also go vote. But we're a week away. Make sure y'all go vote and go vote Jason Lee if you're in District 6. So and vote Fugazi for mayor too, y'all. That's the homegirl too. I support her also. So y'all make sure y'all go put y'all votes out. Yeah, man, just keep Stockton lit. Let's go.
See y'all. Thank you. That was good.
I needed to get validation from you, so hold on.